Okay, good evening. It's Dine and Learn at Khilah Marine Park. It's August 11th, 2025. This evening's Dine and Learn is sponsored by the Meiri family, Le'ilu Nishmas of Shalom's mother, Miriam Bas Chava. Neshama should have an aliyah. Sorry? Abba. Miriam Bas Abba. Neshama should have an aliyah. This is the second in our series on AI and halacha. There are no children around here, so I'm going to pivot to a topic that I had not planned on discussing, but I'll take the opportunity. There's research going on in Japan on creating AI companions. There's a real problem there of older single men, and they're creating lifelike, to some degree, women, female, quote-unquote, robots, female-looking robots, and animating them with AI. And they're trying to get to that point to keep, first of all, to help people out in their homes. As you get older, you need help in the house, medical problems and such like that. It's bad to be alone, so have a medical aid and also a companion. Which raises the question to me, is there, al pi halacha and al pi musar, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And then that'll take us to sort of a secondary topic within this whole idea of AI companions. So there's think of it as like a chatbot, let's say. Let's remove the robot side of it and think of it like a chatbot. Is there any problem in creating an emotional relationship with a chatbot? Chatbot can be trained to seem very human-like and respond like a person who's very concerned with your whatever concerns you, and can provide a lot of support. So to certain people who are suffering from various mental health issues, this could be very, very helpful, very therapeutic. But for someone not suffering from that, is it problematic or not? So to me, there are two sides to it. Number one, this is it will deter people. Some people are not very sociable and do not do well around other people. And the only reason they get out and go and talk to people and meet people and maybe even go on dates is because they get depressed, they get lonely, and sometimes they have to hit rock bottom to overcome your fears. And these chatbots could deter people, could give them a little satisfaction, not the same as a human being, but some satisfaction enough that they don't hit that rock bottom. And then they never go out and they never conquer their fears and never overcome their awkwardness. And it could lead, this supposed solution to loneliness could actually lead to more loneliness. That's one side. The other side is that a real relationship is you caring about that other person and that person caring about you. Here it's all one-sided. It's really just this chatbot, this robot, satisfying your needs, your emotional needs. It's completely narcissistic, and it just you end up going into a spiral, only thinking about yourself. You might compare it to some of these internet bubbles where you only talk to people who are like-minded, and you never hear any other opinion. It just reinforces your own opinions. Here, you're not even dealing with other people virtually. You're dealing with just this chatbot designed to reinforce your own opinions. And you end up in a circle, you become even more socially awkward and more secluded. It will actually reinforce the problem rather than solve the problem. None of this is halacha. This is all just my conjecture. I'm not a psychologist. I could be completely wrong on everything. Just throwing some things out there. That in a marital in relationship, if you develop a relationship with someone else, an emotional relationship with someone else, that's often called an emotional affair. Like cheating on your spouse without any physical contact, just developing that emotional relationship. And we can debate whether that's problematic or not problematic. I mean, it is problematic. Ask your wife if you have any questions. Beyond all that, beyond the loneliness, and it probably will lower the marriage rate to some degree, as people find their emotional satisfaction or their emotional needs satisfied electronically rather than through a person. Setting all that aside, let's think about the halachic concerns. There's shvichas zera levatala problems with a man and other problems with a woman. Putting that aside, let's say there's a lifelike robot, a lifelike male robot, and a woman, married woman, has an affair, a physical affair with this robot. On the one hand, it's not a person. If it would be a person, right? A woman, married woman, an ish is ish, shazinsa, who has an affair, so she's forbidden to marry or stay married to her husband, and forbidden to marry the man with whom she has an affair with. So let's say it's a robot instead. Obviously, she can't marry the robot. There's no such thing as marriage with a robot. But is she allowed to stay married to her husband? What's the din? Is it considered znus, eishes ish zinsa, an affair, a physical affair with a robot? If a woman has an affair with a robot, or not?
Of course not. Because even if she had an affair with a goy, I mean, if it was forced upon her to have affairs with a goy, she doesn't have to. I mean, her husband could still have her. She could still have a relationship with her husband, which shows you that having a relationship even with a goy is less of a severe relationship than having a regular relationship with an Eve.
Just. I appreciate your confidence. Hold on to your pants. Hold on to the seat of your pants.
With a robot, which is as if, fortunately, there are women who have different ways to satisfy themselves. It's like the same thing. I mean, if you're saying that.
Hold on. Just hold on. Just wait a minute. I'm going to tell you something that'll change your opinion. The Maharam Lublin, Rav Meir of Lublin, in the early 17th century, was asked this question. A woman said she had an affair with a shade, a demon. And the question was, so if you would tell me, I'd say, you should probably take it to a psychologist. But let's say you take it literally and seriously like he did. He took it literally and seriously, and he thought about it. Is she allowed to remain married to her husband after having an affair with a shade, a demon, shadim? Okay? Shadim. So the pasuk that talks about this sort of thing is in Bamidbars. It's about the sota, isha sota, and it says v'shachav ish osa, and a man sleeps with her. So the Gemara in Sota and Chavav Amud Beis uses that to exclude animals and to exclude a katan, a minor. It has to be an ish. Ish, not an animal, and ish, not a katan, not a child, not a minor. So the Maharam says, it's not in the Gemara, but the Maharam says that same drasha would seem to exclude a shade. A shade, a demon, is not a human. So v'shechav ish osa, ish, and not a shade, not a demon. And therefore it wouldn't be considered Eishes Ish Shazinsa, and he paskin, she's still allowed to remain married to her husband. And the Khilah agrees, but the Maharam Lublin's, I think his great grandson, Reb Chaim Rappaport, there's a sefer called Chuvas Reb Chaim Cohen. So Reb Chaim Rappaport, he says no. He says, why are animals excluded? Ish, right? It seems everything I thought about, every reason that I had to say it tonight is now not relevant. So I'm going to try to use more euphemisms now that younger people have entered the room. But the Reb Chaim Rappaport says, since a human cannot have children with an animal, therefore an animal is excluded from the pasuk. V'shechav ish osa, and not an animal you can have children with, and not a katan. A katan also can't have children. But there's a Gemara in Bava Basra and Ein Gimel Amud Aleph that talks about someone named Herman Bar Lilis. This is one of these fantastic Rabbi Bar Chana Gemaras. And who is this Lilis? So some Mefarshim say this Lilis was a shade, a demon. So she had a child with a human being. So you see from this that a shade can have children with a human being, and therefore it wouldn't fall under the exclusion. And a woman in such a situation with a shade would have to divorce her husband. Would have to get divorced.
A couple could also have a child.
Sorry?
You could also have a child. For Katana.
I don't believe that's true, but let's put that aside. The Gemara doesn't say that. The Mefarshim say, who is this guy? He's the son of this shade who had him with a human being. Right, no. So, okay, so if you take none of this literally, then you don't even have the Shiloh. We're talking about people who take it literally. And these poskim are taking it literally. And because the question was asked, the woman actually claimed, I would have said, right, either she's delusional, was she on drugs, smoking something, or she has psychological problems, or she's just a liar. It does happen. There are people who are liars, try to get out of situations. You can imagine. She's like, oh, no, that was a shade. That wasn't my neighbor. You know, that's what I would have said. They take her case literally and they examine it. So in this case also, they're saying this case in the Gemara is also the child of a shade. And therefore, this Reb Chaim Cohen, the great-grandson of the Maharam Lublin, says, no, actually she's not. She has to get divorced. The Machane Chaim, he was a Talmud of the Chasam Sofer with the same last name. His name was Rav Chaim Sofer, but not related. So in Khilah Gimel, Even Hoezer, Siman Nun Hey, he actually examines all the Midrashim and all the Gemaras about Shadim, and tries to figure out who had children with whom and who could not have children. And his conclusion is a female shade can have children with a man, a human man, but a male shade cannot have children with a human woman. That's how he evaluates it, and that's his conclusion. And therefore he says, a woman, v'sherchav isho, so a woman cannot have a child with a male shade, and therefore the shade would be excluded by the pasuk, v'sherchav isho, so, and therefore it's not considered Eishes Ish Shazinsa, and she's allowed to remain married to her husband. Again, you know, I would have responded to the Shiloh differently. I think most of my Rebbeim also would have responded, but that's how they responded to the Shiloh. So being that's now in the halacha books, now we have these halachas in the books, how do they apply to a robot? To an AI-powered robot? So it sounds like, according to everybody, you cannot have children with a robot. And since you can't, so like Maharam Lublin, V'shachav Isho, so anyone who's not an Ish, so robot's not an Ish. And according to Reb Chaim Rappaport, who says, but if they can have a baby together, even if he's not an Ish, it's still a problem. That's also not a problem, because the robots can't have babies. So, according to all poskim, I would suggest that in such a case, it would not be considered Eishes Ish Zinsa. And if there's such a robot that eventually comes to being, we should all stay away from such things. And it's still usher, it's still not okay. But does it rise to the level of Eishes Ish Zinsa? That it probably does not rise to that level. And of course, these things are taken to the poskim of the generation and not to just the shir. But this is what I'm saying, halacha v'lo l'maisa. I think that would be the case, that it would not be considered an Eishes Ish Shazinsa.
Using your svara, and Afkara or Sris would be able to have nuts.
Oh, so if someone who's infertile, so let's say a guy can get a vasectomy and then he's all free, he can do whatever he wants. So I think I don't believe it's talking about individuals, it's talking about categories. And once you're a human, it doesn't matter whether you're particularly fertile or not. I think it still applies to that. There's no exception on the books for someone in those situations. Alice had asked earlier, or started the discussion earlier. I'm changing topics. You're not talking about robots and having affairs with robots. That you're not talking about. You're asking about having a chavrusa with an AI. So I was thinking about this not long ago. Can you have a chavrusa with an AI? So it seems a little awkward to talk about a chatbot, but think about a robot. A robot comes to the base medrash and sits down next to you, and he can reason, he can argue, he can help you. He probably has more textual skills than you do. can you sit down and learn with him, or not? What could be the problem? So the Gemara in Chagiga, Yud Gimel Amud Aleph, that says we're not allowed to teach Torah to a Gentile, to a Nochri, someone who's not Jewish. So Tosfos asks a question on that. What do you mean? The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph, says learning Torah with a non-Jew is an Isser of Lifnei Iver. Lifnei Iver makes it sound like it's not your problem, it's his problem. The Isser is on him. He's not allowed to learn Torah. And if you teach him, okay, so that's Lifnei Iver. But the Gemara in Chagiga makes it sound like it's your Isser. You're not allowed to teach him. So the way I understand these two studim, these two views, is that according to the Gemara in Chagiga, Torah is our heritage. It's part of what defines us as a Jewish people. We're not allowed to just give that away.
It's turning the light on Shabbos?
Sorry?
If you want to turn on the light on Shabbos and you're not allowed to do it, so you go over to a guy, so can tell him we have a halacha that we're not allowed to turn on the light on Shabbos?
So there are two issues. One is mitzad Hilchos Shabbos, you're not allowed to do that. You have to do it a little more clever way. You have to hint. You can't.
It's not enough hint?
But also mitzad teaching Torah to a non-Jew, it's possible that's not considered. That doesn't rise to the level of teaching Torah to a non-Jew. It's really just saying what you can do and what you can't do.
It's referencing versus depth.
Yeah, it's a very superficial kind of learning. But to sit down and learn a Gemara might be.
The halacha is that you do teach Goyim, because if not, there would not be any Giorim.
No, so teaching a ger is a very, very difficult question. Not everybody agrees that it's allowed. There is the view that you're allowed to teach someone who wants to convert. Oh, dafka him and no other Gentile, because he's going to be Jewish and he needs to know. But there's an opinion.
Is there a Goyim?
There is right
In
in the process of converting.
But it's still a Goyim.
So that's the opinion. That's the view of the opinion. That's the view of the opinion that you're not allowed to. There's a view that you're not allowed to teach Torah to someone who wants to convert. Convert and then I'll teach you.
If I could just ask a question. Just to back up a moment, how did we get to the robot having a din of a nachri?
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Let's first talk about the nachri.
Because I would think it's a neutral kind of thing. It's like, getting information like from a library. It's not necessarily a din of a person.
So the svara here is important. If we're giving away our heritage to a non-Jew, and we're not allowed to do that, like the Gemara Chagiga sounds like, so then I don't think you give it away to anybody, to anything.
Google.
Don't give it to Google. Google took it. That's Google's problem. But if it's the problem on him, meaning he's not allowed to learn Torah, because that's how we do our avodas Hashem. Our avodas Hashem is to learn Torah, and he's not allowed to do the Jewish avodas Hashem. So that's his problem, not our problem. But it might still be lifnei iver. But a robot is not subject to those halachas. So if he's not subject to those halachas, he's not doing any avodas Hashem. So then it might be mutter. The Rambam has a completely different approach. The Rambam's approach to this, the Rambam in Hilchos Malachim, Perek Yud Halacha Tes. So the Rambam holds a non-Jew is not allowed to create his own religion. He's not allowed to create things that he believes are obligations, and he's not allowed to do our mitzvos as if they're obligations, because then he's creating his own religion of obligations. If he does our mitzvahs, if a non-Jew believes he must blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah, and he blows it, that is, according to halacha, asur. We don't do anything to him, but I'm just saying, according to... Hold on. And the Rambam says there are two exceptions. But the Rambam says there's something called neutral. If he's doing it because he wants to, optional. He's not saying I have to blow shofar. He's like, oh, shofar, well, it's Rosh Hashanah. I guess I should. Why don't I? Might as well. All the Jews are blowing shofar. I'll take one out and blow it also. See what it feels like. See what it sounds like. If that's what God wants from the Jews, maybe I should do it also. If it's optional, if he's doing it not because he believes he's obligated, but because he wants to, he's choosing to do so. So that would be mutter according to the Rambam. Except the Rambam says two things. He's not allowed to observe Shabbos no matter what, and he's not allowed to learn Torah no matter what. Even if he doesn't believe he's obligated, he's still not allowed to do that because those are uniquely Jewish Jewish observances, no one else is allowed to do it, even optionally. So according to the Rambam, so let's say there's a non-Jew who does not believe learning Torah is a mitzvah. He's doing it out of intellectual curiosity. What is this Torah thing that they keep talking about? He's just interested. Or he learns everything. He learns every field of knowledge, every field of philosophy. What's this Jewish philosophy thing that they're doing? So according to the Rambam, this should be allowed because he's not doing it as an obligation. He's not doing it as an optional mitzvah. He's doing it as not a mitzvah at all. He's doing it mamish just out of curiosity. He's not doing it in any form of way as an avoda, as some sort of a worship. So then according to the Rambam it would be allowed. But according to Tosfos it's not. According to Tosfos it's not because it's our heritage. He's taking it away. He's not allowed to take away something. But it's gezel. It's theft. Stealing it. So an AI never intends to learn Torah as a matter of a mitzvah, of worship. There's no lishma, there's no intent, they would only do it because we won't ask them to do it. So if that's the case, according to the Rambam, it should be mutter to learn with a robot because he's not doing it for a mitzvah in any sense. It's intellectual curiosity at most. According to Tosfos, it could be a problem. According to Tosfos, it could be a problem because it's something Jewish that he's taking away. It would be a form of theft. However,
You consider him no.
if you consider him not Jewish, he's not Jewish. If he's not Jewish, he can't take it something that's Jewish.
That's the question. That's the last time. The question is he like a book? Or is he like an entity? I mean, does he have, because if he's like a book, it is you're actually reading the book and you're reading also commentary on the book. You see what I'm trying?
So if it's nothing, if it's not a being, if it's just
Data processor.
meaning if he has no isser on himself, what do you mean he's not allowed to steal? He doesn't have any isurim on him that would be a problem. So according to the Gemara in Sanhedrin, there'd be it's not a problem of lifnei iver because he's not obligated in it. He's a nothing. He's just but according to the Gemara in Chagiga, we're not allowed to give away our Mesorah to anyone or anything. And that would be giving it away. After it's all I'm suggesting.
It's one thing because I mean, what he's storing the information and he's using it, and somebody else might use it afterwards.
Isn't that what it always is?
So this is what he does.
No, but isn't that what it means to give it away? You're giving it away.
Well, wasn't it already Hefker because already a lot of the Marm Koimos were put on Google?
That doesn't necessarily make it mutter for us to do more. So it might not be lifnei iver, because they could just go anywhere and take it from ArtScroll. ArtScroll did the avera for us, and so it's not lifnei iver for us anymore. I'm just kidding, I'm being sarcastic. But according to the Gemara in Chagiga, it's not a matter of lifnei iver. We're not allowed to give it away. If we take it seriously, you don't just give it away to someone else.
What about all these websites that open for anybody to
Oh, okay. So I'll give you some heterim. That'll be one of the heterim. So the Maharsha writes, what kind of Torah are you not allowed to teach? So he says it's not just a superficial amount of Torah. He said is specifically the Sodos HaTorah, the secrets of the Torah. He's not talking about Kabbalah. He's talking about something, learning Be'iyun. You're not allowed to learn Be'iyun with a non-Jew because it's how we do our own worship of Hashem. That's Judaism to us. We don't do those observances with someone who's not Jewish. And there are later Achronim who take this. The 3DH takes this very seriously. So if it's 3DH was asked if you could teach in a college, teach Jewish studies in a college, and he said, don't teach Gemara Be'in and you're fine because you're only teaching intro courses, superficial level of understanding. And if that's not Sodos HaTorah, you're not learning Be'in, so that should be okay. But don't teach them Reb Chaims. Don't teach them Reb Chaims. So if that's the case, but I don't think that helps us with a robot. Because if you really want to have a good chavrusa, you're going to be learning Be'iyun.
Absolutely.
You don't want to just Bekiyas chavrusa. You could just take get an app, listen to Oldaf. If you're just going to learn Bekiyas, you want Be'iyun, so you need so then that doesn't help us. But Rav Moshe Feinstein was asked about Jewish schools where they have students who are not halachically Jewish. And there's nothing they could do about it. They're forced, or teachers, it's not the administration, it's the administration's decision. What does a teacher do? Is he allowed to teach Torah to a class of 29 Jewish kids and one non-Jewish kid? He's not halachically Jewish. So Rav Moshe said, are you allowed to have a non-Jew come to your Seder? For whatever reason, so the Hilchos Yontif problem, let's put that aside. Setting aside Hilchos Yontif, are you allowed to say, the whole point of the Seder is to teach Torah. To teach the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Are you allowed to do that if there's a non-Jew at the table? So Rav Moshe says it all depends on your kavanah. If your intent is to teach Torah to Jews and someone is overhearing, that's not your problem. You want to teach those 29 kids in the class and there's one other kid, so don't intend to teach him. Teach the other 29. Now, from what I'm told from teachers, it's actually not so easy because you're always quizzing kids and trying to get them to interact. You can't try to get everyone to interact except for that one kid. That's how you get fired. So I don't know exactly, Lamaisa, how to implement this, but if your goal is, or maybe you interact with that one kid so that you don't get fired and you can teach the other 29 kids. I don't know exactly how you do it, but if your intent is to teach Torah to a Jew, and then, agav, unintentionally, a non-Jew also learns, so that would be mutter. And that's probably, for all these websites, we put up the websites so Jews can learn. Because we want to teach Torah to our community and our family. And if anyone else happens to come in, and that's what ArtScroll did. Why did ArtScroll publish English Gemara? So tens of thousands of Jews could learn Gemara.
I know for a fact that some women listen to lectures.
100%.
My wife works with families with these women, and they said they would go to these websites.
I have Christian readers of my website for years, for 20 years. I get emails from Christian readers. Okay.
Chevy Al Tyson. You're uploading it. Whoever looks at it, looks at it.
My intent is to teach Torah to my fellow community members, and if someone outside of the community happens to read it or listen, or that's I'm not stopping them. I'm not stopping them. That's just not what my primary intent.
I was thinking that it's a nice solution to a problem, but the thing is that you are training the computer, that's what you're doing, by having this chavruta within, you are training the AI to teach it better to other people.
So you're training the AI to understand it better?
No, to understand it better.
But what's your kavanah? What's your kavanah?
But of course my kavanah is...
It's for myself. I'm learning chavrusa with a robot for myself.
Okay, but the thing is that I'm just saying, the thing is that, one of his components, one of his reasons why he's there, one of the reasons why he communicates with you is so he could dissect the sugya better, so we could transmit it afterwards to somebody else better.
So every interaction with an AI, they learn from that. They learn from that, and it helps them in the future. So what I hope it does, it helps them with other yeshiva boys who need help. So it all depends on your kavanah. If your kavanah is to teach Torah to yourself or to other Jews within our community, like the halacha is, so then it's okay. According to Rav Moshe, it would be okay. Even if, let's say, okay, so let's go back to the classroom. There's this one non-Jewish kid who you're going to have to grade him. You're going to have to give him feedback on his progress. But why are you doing that? So he could grow up and become, whatever he could become a professor himself and teach Torah to other people. And that would be even doubly problematic. But that's not your kavanah. Yeah, your kavanah is to teach those 29 kids. And so too with a robot chavrusa, your kavanah is to teach yourself, to learn more yourself. And anything else that happens is all incidental. Okay, so that's it for tonight. And Mr. Hashem will continue in the future.